Okay, fellow babies, this week's next question comes from Chipe Lucas. Cheap Lucas? I don't know, Chipe Lucas. With the popularity that the iPod Touch has today in society, do I think a parent will prefer to buy their 12 and under children an iPod Touch instead of a Nintendo DS or 3DS as a gaming device? Yeah, I do. I think that there's a segmentation of people who play games. Probably, 30% of people who play games are very satisfied with the casual experience. Probably 70% of people who play games want a harder core experience. So I don't think the iPod Touch substitutes for the hardcore experience. But when you start looking at kids 12 and under, I'd say the percentage that are satisfied with casual is greater the younger you go. So a 6-year-old kid is just not going to play Zelda Ocarina of Time because they can't figure it out. And they're very happy with Tetris, which is a casual game. I don't know if Tetris is on the iPod Touch. I suspect that it is because it's an Electronic Arts mobile title. It's probably $1 or $5, but it's a heck of a lot less than it is on the DS. So, I think if you're satisfied with that, then of course you get an iPod Touch. The iPod Touch is a little bit more expensive than the DS and 3DS, but not phenomenally more so, and the cost of software is as low as free. So yes, I think parents prefer to buy that for their children. Unless the kids complain, I think the kids will be getting iPod Touches for the next several years. Our next question comes from Twitter, @Woodrow Shigeru. I know Woodrow Shigeru, I love this guy. How much does it cost to localize a game compared to development cost? Localization is translation. It's putting everything in the local language. It's relatively inexpensive. I remember on Twitter I got blasted by the manager of localization for Blizzard in Turkey, who was telling me that when I talked about crunch time, I don't know anything about crunch and working as a developer because he's such an important developer. He's working in Turkey translating English World of Warcraft into Turkish. The answer is not very much. You've got to get somebody to go through the game and all the dialogue and translate. I would guess you're talking about under $100,000 compared to $20 million for a AAA title, so not very expensive. I think if they localize and they use name talent, it could be more. So if they're using, the biggest rock star in France to translate into French, maybe, but that doesn't happen very often. So very, very low localization costs. Yes, those people are developers, but I can't imagine that the localization guys have to work crunch hours, so I was especially offended when this Turkish guy said I didn't know what I was talking about, because they're really about the least essential piece of the puzzle. All right, fellow babies, thank you for joining us on this week's Pach-Attack. Remember, if you have a question, you can submit it to the link on this page, or you can submit it to Twitter, @MichaelPachter. Make sure you copy @RohanLikesPants because he selects all the questions that we answer. So suck up to Rohan and you got a chance of your question getting answered.